So I would ask Christopher Newton, who's the Director Emeritus of the Shaw Festival, to come up to the stage to present the Life Membership Award to Jennifer.
Ladies and gentlemen, so much of what we do in the theatre is ephemeral. Performances of great beauty and integrity disappear into darkness, remembered only by a few of those who crowded into the cramped spaces in which we play. And yet, isn't this the essence of our craft? That it exists only in the memory. There's little that is tangible, perhaps a program, somewhat damaged because in our excitement we'd rolled it up as we watched. And as an audience, we can never take it all in. There's always something missed, something just out of reach, even of our most concentrated attention. Nevertheless, we must remember, otherwise there is no meaning in our work. We use time and memory as both our medium and our raw material. This is why it is so important that we recognize and celebrate our own now, in this instant, which disappears as soon as it is recognized. Jenny Phipps is the consummate creator of memories, images that capture the essence of a performance and stay with us, sometimes even when the narrative has totally disappeared. Indulge me as I rifle through the attic of my own remembrances. Jenny and I first played together in Winnipeg in 1968. She was my mother in Brecht's Galileo. That in itself seems ridiculous now, for there are only a few years between us, and I turn 80 this year, and she is, I know, blooming in her early 60s. For a brief instant in 1970, Jenny joined my little company at Theatre Calgary and completely astonished us in The Entertainer, a performance so real, so detailed, and so simple that I couldn't take my eyes off her. A few years passed. I was out west. She was at Stratford, and it seemed in so many other theatres where I would glimpse her creating these photographs, a hand resting on a table, a line delivered so finely that I wanted the performance to stop right there, a word and an expression that caused an audience to explode with laughter, intensely happy memories. Jenny rejoined the Shaw Company in 1982 and at once became a presence for both actors and audience. Her timing was always impeccable, and for this reason I loved her in farces, but it was in the more quirky pieces that she excelled. The housekeeper in The Singular Life of Albert Nobbs, as the weird Mrs. Dudgeon, as Mrs. Antrobus in The Skin of Our Teeth. And there's a memory. I recollect saying to Jenny, "You've got to turn on that word, otherwise it won't work." "Ah," said Jenny, "you want old-fashioned acting." What that actually meant, I never knew. Old-fashioned or not, the work was always truthful. I could believe that the words were new minted, and sometimes, of course, they actually were completely original. But the creations were authentic. Donna Mathilde in Pirandello's Henry IV, Nurse Guinness dancing in the moonlight to the sound of a distant piano in Heartbreak House, Mrs. Felicity Snapper in Cavalcade, Judith Bliss in Hay Fever, Mrs. Flint in This Happy Breed, Sarah Becker in Counselor at Law, Miss Potter in Rattigan's After the Dance, where, in rehearsal one day, watching Neil Barclay, Jenny very quietly said to me, "My father played that part in the original production." What is this charisma that some lucky actors possess. I don't know. No one does. But it's essential for greatness. Jenny has it. I can happily watch her sitting on the edge of a scene. The character is there, participating, inside the action. Perhaps it's based on generosity, perhaps on an overwhelming need to be on stage, to be in love with creation. Whatever it is, like life itself, mysterious and astonishing. Jenny has given us a gift. She's still acting. She's still surprising us with a talent as generous as it is mysterious. I, like so many others, will always be in her debt, seated in the cramped darkness, twisting my program, enchanted. So it is with the greatest affection and respect that I offer you, my dear Miss Phipps, this perpetual membership in our association.
Contribution. Good God, I never thought this would ever happen to me in my entire life. And I wanted to say something quite... Where are you? There you are. Oh, I was in Canada when he came back from there, and what he said was absolutely true about the separation between us and the United States. My name is Jennifer Phipps. I've forgotten what I was going to say now, of course. I forget. Anyway, it says here, recognizing her outstanding contribution to the Canadian performing arts community and to Canadian. Thank you very much. It's, I did want to say, I was going to write something before I came up, but everybody has been so eloquent before me that there's no point in saying what I'd written, which I hadn't written anyway, so they... But I was going to say that actually, something that people have completely... I read at that original meeting, the original separation, and I was going to look for it before I came up here to read it again, which I'm very glad I didn't, because he was... Do you remember that? I read... we're so sorry to say goodbye to you, American equity, but we don't like you anymore and all the rest of it. You don't remember me? I remember me. Nobody ever remembers anything I do except for Christopher, and seems to remember me. Anyway, thank you very, very, very much. And thank you very much for recommending me to begin with. Who was it that I... It was my Barbara. She's come all the way up to... Barbara, she does so much for me. Thank you very much. Because... Oh, it doesn't matter. Goodbye. I'm going to take this down and put it on my mantle. Can I keep this? Oh. That's unusual, isn't it? I don't want to leave, you know. No wonder they were so long, because they don't want... You don't want to leave when you get up here. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.